Happy holidays, Bobby W6IWN here. I got a little time off of work because of bad weather and I do construction, so I'm going to be experimenting with some more indoor type of stuff. Today we're going to be talking about APRS, specifically how to get your Baofeng radio hooked up to your cell phone, your tablet, or your computer to do APRS. This will also work with any other radio that is compatible that has the K1 jack. The K1 jack is the Kenwood jack that goes into the side here, just like your programming cable. All right, let's jump right to it and see how you can do this. Okay, what is APRS? APRS stands for Automatic Packet Reporting System. It is an amateur radio-based system for real-time digital communications of information of immediate value in the local area. Data can include object global positioning, GPS coordinates, non-directional beacon, weather station telemetry, text messages, short ones, announcements, queries, and other telemetry. APRS data can be displayed on a map, which shows you which stations, objects, tracks of moving objects, weather stations, search and rescue data, and direction finding data. You can also send short emails. The history on APRS is a gentleman by the name of Bob Bruniga, I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, a senior research engineer at the United States Naval Academy, implemented the earliest ancestor of APRS and an Apple II computer in 1982. Very cool. The early version was used to map high-frequency naval position reports, so they were tracking the ships. That's awesome. The first use of APRS was in 1984 when Bruniga developed a more advanced version on a VIC-20 for reporting the position and status of horses in a 100-mile endurance run. Well, that's very cool. I wonder if that was the Western States 100 trail by chance. So there's a little bit of history on it. So does APRS use a modem? Do you remember the dial-up modems? Well, yes, it does. Actually, it uses a TNC, which stands for Terminal Node Controller, which is going to be a combination of this adapter and then the software on your computer or your tablet or your phone, whatever you're going to be using, that's going to take that digital data, those packets, and that's going to translate them, and then it can also send them back out and then make that information useful for you on your computer so you can read it on a map or see the messages in there or whatever, send your messages. So what exactly can you do with APRS? Well, you can track yourself as a moving object, so you could have it in your vehicle, or if you were hiking, it will send out a beacon every once in a while that has your GPS location data included, and then you'll pop up on a map like this. You can find this map at aprs.fi, and I will put links below to everything in the video description. There's also things that are called nodes. So you could set up a weather station, and then it's going to beacon out that weather information, and then someone could come up on the map like this and click on that node. And for example, this one says temperature 37, humidity 92%, pressure 1012.7 mbar, wind 25 or from 253 degrees at 13 miles per hour, gusts 19 miles an hour, and then it tells you the amount of precipitation and everything. Very cool. They use it to track ships. Like it said in the history, they were even tracking horses. So you can do pedestrian, cars, whatever you want to track, you could track it with APRS. You can check the weather. You can also send text messages. So there's APRS and then APRIS, which are nodes that are hooked up to the internet. So if I was to transmit through my radio and it was to hit one of those nodes, those gateways that are hooked up to the internet, and I sent a message, and then it will send it out through the internet. So there's SMS gateways, which will connect to and send it to your phone, obviously a SMS text. And then there's email gateways where you can send an email message. So you can only include so much data in an APRS package. So these are short messages that you can send, but they could be critical in a life-saving situation where you did not have data and you needed to send a message out. But granted, you could hit an APRS beacon. So APRS also jumps around. So when you send out your message, this guy over here is going to hear it depending on how he has his setup. It's going to repeat that and then repeat that again. So this can go into a lot of detail. If you want to learn more all about that, there's a ton of documentations on APRS. So let's get right to how you're going to actually set this up. I'm using the BTEC APRS K1 Pro cable, and we'll show you how to do that now. Okay, this setup is going to be for APRSdroid for Android client, and then I'm going to also show you Pinpoint for Windows. So if you're an Apple user, there's a lot of other videos out there, I'm sure, that can show you how to do it with Apple. I actually think BTEC has one for showing how to hook up to the Apple APRS client. I'm sorry, I forget the name of it, but if anyone knows, please comment below. So it's simple as you open the flap here, and then this has a mic and a speaker jack, which is going to take those noises, the data it hears, and then it's going to transfer it through this device, which is going to make that a lot more mellower, so it's not over-modulating, so that your software on the other end can actually hear it correctly. So once you have your APRSdroid installed and you have this set up, let's go right to the APRSdroid settings. Okay, now that you have your APRSdroid app installed, go ahead and open that. And then if you click on the three dots on the top right, you want to go to Preferences under there. Then under call sign, you're going to want to enter your call sign. So you can also do, oh no, this is without SSID. Okay, yeah, so just enter your call sign. So then next below that is going to be your SSID, and it's going to give you a list of different stuff. I'm doing -5. I'm just doing a little project here. So if you were doing it mobile, you would want to probably, or from your handheld, it's -7. If you're on a boat, -8. Just go through the list and pick what is appropriate for you. Your APRS DigiPath. You can do some research on this, but I'm doing wide-1 or 1-1. Wide 2-1. Do some research and pick appropriately for what you need. So this is going to be one of the very important ones, connection preferences. So you want to go in here and you want to choose AFSK for your connection. And then under there, make sure the high quality demodulator is checked. And then for Baofengs and stuff, there at the very bottom here, there is a preamble. The BTEC, they recommend that you set this to 1000 in their directions. So that's a whole second with Vox. So that's so it works for Vox. We'll get into that here a little bit more in a minute. All right, your APRS symbol. APRSdroid's cool. It's going to show you symbols. So this is going to be your symbol that shows up on the map. So pick your symbol appropriately. Your comment field. You can leave a short comment in your message there. For this example, I'm just doing my YouTube page. Location settings. So smart beaconing. It's going to use the GPS in your phone to send. You can adjust these. I'm just going to leave them all at default. So when you go faster, and it's going to know, and it's going to send out your beacon more. But when you're just sitting at home idle, or you're not moving, it's going to do it a lot slower. So that makes more sense when it's tracking you on the map. It's going to need to send out your beacon more. So I just leave those blank, or excuse me, to default. Oops, let's go back there. Location settings. You can keep the screen awake if you like. That way it doesn't shut down. Position privacy. So there's ambiguity on here if you like to use that. So you can change it to, do you want it to send your location exact right where you're at, or do you want it to maybe show it a little further out for your privacy? That is completely up to you, but if someone is tracking you and you want to know exactly where you're at, you might want to turn that off. All right, you should be all set up now, so let's go back to the app and start tracking. So I wanted to make a note. I have been having some RFI problems ever since I got a new monitor. So to rectify that, I tried to put on some ferrite beads on each end of my cable. I probably should have slid them maybe a little bit further back. I also have some on my coax. I'm in an HOA here, so I have a really small antenna in the window that doesn't work very great, and I don't really receive much APRS here. I do make it out though, and then someone does repeat that to the digipeater, so I can do the APRS IS and get messages out. So for the United States of America, the APRS frequency is going to be 144.39. That's 144.39. You're going to need to go ahead and enter that in your VFO or set up a channel, whichever you like. I highly recommend if you go into your radio settings and turn the power saving off, you're going to want to turn your squelch to 1. Some people say it works better if you turn your squelch completely off. I've been doing some experimenting. It may or may not, but for them or not. I've just been trying to save some battery. So make sure your power saving is off. Also, before you use this on your phone, make sure that your notifications are turned off, which mine aren't, so I better make sure that I do that right now. Because if you get a text message or somebody calls or any audio comes through your phone, it's going to transmit over the radio. Sorry, anybody locally that I may have done that on accident. So let's try not to do that. So now that your radio's on, you're going to want to adjust the volume. Start at about a quarter way, it says. I've been turning up my volume on this thing about halfway and kind of experimenting to see what works. Go ahead and hit start tracking. Oh, my screen recording thing didn't like that. Okay, we are tracking. I have another radio that does APRS that I could send a message to show you how this works, but it's charging right now. So let's do some camera magic and jump right back to it. Okay, so what you did here, I have this radio receiving on 144.39. It was sending out a message with my report. Actually, this is a great time to show you on APRS. So if I go to the map here, refresh this, and you look on here, there is me. I'm a little dog icon for Ricky, and I just popped up, and it shows the time and the location and what type of station I have set up here. So very cool. It sent out its first APR message, so we know we're making it out. Let's do some camera magic and see what it is like to receive one, since I'm in a kind of a bad, poor reception area to receive one. So I'm going to send one from the other room for a demonstration. All right, there you go. See how it popped up on the screen here? And then if we go and we click on that, it's going to give the information that I just sent, the location, the message that I had in there. You can see it says W6IWN Radio YouTube. And then if we go on to the APRS.fi map over here, it should show I have that popping on a fixed location. So, all right, now we've got it all hooked up to our Android device. We've sent and we've received message. Note the audio is a little fiddly on this. What I did is I made a little notch on my Baofeng volume knob with a pin here, so I know where the volume level was working the best, and I had to fiddle with it and adjust. It seems to send out every time perfect, but I think the Vox kind of doesn't work so well with the receive all of the time. I'm receiving messages sometimes, just not all of the time. So I'm looking to set up a digipeater maybe and a better antenna. So I'm thinking for that, I'm going to use my FT2980 and a little piece of different hardware. So stand by for that. This will get you going on your cell phone, tablet, or computer and your little HT with a K1 jack for now. All right, so I unhooked the phone. I got it hooked back to the tablet. And let's send an email. I turned the notifications back on my phone so that we can hear it. So in order to send a message on here, what you're going to want to do is go to your APRSdroid, and you're going to see at the top there's a little arrow up there. Go ahead and click on that little arrow. That's going to open up messages. And if you go to the bottom, it's going to say send message. So under the call sign section, I'm going to go ahead and enter email -2. And then under the message, you're going to enter the email first. So I'm going to go ahead and enter one of my emails here. Okay, and then immediately after the email, do one space between the email address, and then you could put a short message. You can't do a really long message here. So let's go ahead and do test. Click OK. As you can hear it, it's sending. I have another radio listening to the APRS. So is my email going to make it out from the Baofeng to another radio somewhere back into the internet, through the internet, back to my phone or computer? Well, fingers crossed. All right, it took a minute, but there it is from W6IWN test. I received an email. So you can also do the same thing if you wanted to send out an SMS. If you go to the message and under the call sign, you type SMS GTE. The phone number and then the short message, and it's got to be under 67 characters. All right, let's jump to the computer and show you how it works with Pinpoint, and I'll actually send a text message from over there. All right, let's jump into how you can interface this with your computer, and it'll work on any computer platform that I'm aware of. Maybe not Commodore 500 or Amiga, but Windows, Linux, Apple, those type of platforms. So it comes with USB-C, which my computer doesn't have. So I'm using a USB-C to USB-A adapter. And then you're gonna plug it in to a port. All right, the configuration on this is a little bit more complicated than the APRSdroid. Rather than regurgitate a bunch of stuff other people have already done in videos, our friend Billy over at The Modern Ham has done an excellent job showing you how you can get this set up with Direwolf and Pinpoint for Windows or in other applications. So I highly recommend you check out Billy. He has not just his YouTube page, but he has an entire site, themodernham.com. And he's typed out everything, very thorough walkthroughs on this. Probably the most detailed APRS information you're gonna get. So I highly recommend, go check out Billy's site, and I'll put links below. He's even got videos on this. So I'm using Direwolf and Pinpoint. Billy will show you how to set that up. And I'm gonna show you what that looks like once it's all set up. So I'm gonna plug the USB-C into my computer. I have everything already, hopefully still configured. Oh, Baofeng down. Thanks to Billy. So I'm gonna open up my Direwolf and get that running at first. So Direwolf is the TNC that's gonna work with your computer. It helps it talk to it. Pinpoint is gonna be your APRS client. Just like APRSdroid, but it's for Windows on your computer. All right, we're all connected. This is what it looks like. It's a mapping system. You're gonna have some options on here with some tools in here. You can send your position beacon, send a message, send a bulletin. You can also send out bulletins with that. Something I haven't experimented with yet. I am by no means an APRS pro, so if you have any comments on anything I may have missed that will help somebody out, feel free to leave nice comments below. You can send your SMS gateway, send an email. And then there's also WinLink. That's something different. You can send full emails. Well, it's going to be in a whole nother video. First thing, let's send an SMS message. So if you go up here to Tools, send SMS via Gateway. So you're going to see here, at number. I'm going to go ahead and put in a number here. You got to use the at sign first. No dashes in the number, just the number, and then a space with your message. Let's do Merry Christmas. How about that? Let's go ahead and send that. Sending through the radio here. Hey! And I don't know if you heard it come up over my phone, but wow, that was rather quick. So, boom. Merry Christmas. It shows right there on my phone, Merry Christmas. So yeah, you just sent a text message with your Baofeng radio. Congratulations. You can also send the emails, like I said. This map will populate once you start hearing stations. It will show them on the map. Unfortunately, I'm in a really bad spot to hear any other stations, so they're not going to populate on my map. So Pinpoint is one of the APRS clients you could use for Windows. It's the one I like so far. If you have any other suggestions on APRS clients for Windows, let me know below. Direwolf seems to be the way to get it to talk to your computer. For a lot of these apps, it's going to be your TNC as far as I understand. So you definitely need to set that up. I really highly recommend you go check out Billy's videos. Maybe I'll put a link or something if I can. And that's going to show you how to set this part up. It's a lot more complicated, but yeah. All right, I got some other stuff to do. Let's make sure I got everything on the list. I think so for now. Oh yeah, check. Before you go and buy all this stuff, do you have APRS available in your area? I do. It's actually very readily available. I'm just in a poor receiving area for it. But when I drive around, it works great. But you may be in a rural area and there may be anybody else with APRS. So before you go and buy APRS equipment, you might want to check. So an easy way to do that is to go to aprs.fi.com. And that's going to pop up this map of your area. Once again, I'll put links below. You can check out if it's available in your area. Check out Billy's setup. We talked about that. And if this is something you're interested, I will put links below for everything in the video description. Thanks for watching, and 7-3.